Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and today's video is dark. Today's video involves a subject matter that I wish every YouTuber has stayed away from. Now for anybody that doesn't know, I'm going to rip the band-aid off and talk about it right here. Yeah, we're discussing a fellow on the internet known as Cody Co. Now, you might know Cody Co as part of this online group of like influencers, these commentators that are kind of like the nice guy YouTubers, you know, the people that make, you know, the standard commentary video that's a little less raunchy than something that me, Charlie, really Pyrocynical, or anybody would make, okay? The Opera GX sponsored side of YouTube, so to speak, right? I guess if that's the quick way to put it. Now, obviously, Cody Co is a very popular YouTuber with 6.13 million subscribers. And of course, his videos do really well. He talks about the funniest waste of money, the beta male boot camp, and helping friends find love. But beyond this persona comes an allegation that is very, very dark. Did Cody Co, at the age of 25, involve himself romantically, more romantically, with somebody that was under the age of 18? Now, this whole story takes place, from what I understand, in the state of Florida. And if we look up the age of consent in Florida, you can see that it is 18 years, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the hard cutoff humans have placed in society. Now, before we go into this video with the whole, like, she was 17 years, 364 days, let's just level it out. We have age of consent laws and hard cutoffs for a reason, okay? It's a lot less, complicated than things like age of maturity, right? Where people get really wild, okay? The Sneeko line of thinking, so to speak. The age of consent is a hard rule that most, if not all, civilized societies have put it as, okay? Now, we've went to our laboratories and have actually applied some real mathematical, reasonings as to find out the age of 18, right? The number 17 is less than 18. If you are over the age of 18, right, as a guy or a girl or anyone in between, right, it is advisable under the law that you don't partake with somebody under the age of 18, okay? That could be 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, all the way down to 0, okay? It is not okay and it is wrong, all right? We have a hard cutoff in society for a reason. It makes things simple, right? But in this situation, Cody Co has been alleged to have involved himself with an underage Tana Mongeau, underage at 17, ladies and gentlemen, which is, as we've mathematically proven in this video, less than 18. Now, we all know who Tana Mongeau is. She's a pretty popular creator. Her podcast gets views in the millions at times. She is a pretty popular individual that is still very much alive on this platform to this day, okay? Tana Mongeau is there. And what we're talking about is not something that is, a he said, she said situation to the point where a new account freshly got made, displayed these allegations, and walked away. This is a story that contains a lot of corroborating evidence and an eyewitness in the situation. So these are things where, again, you can never have a perfect crime in this where all the evidence is proven Phoenix Wright style, but this is a situation that has a lot of actual, it has a lot of oomph behind it, so to speak. Now, the person who spearheaded these allegations is a person known as D'Angelo Wallace. Although YouTubers have talked about this in the past, people like, a friend of the channel, Turkey Tom, on his second channel, Tom Dark, talked about it a month ago. So obviously, D'Angelo Wallace, who is a friend of the channel, from my understanding, I've seen him actually post underneath in our comment section before, he made a actual solid 15-minute video basically detailing all of this as well. He went into not just Cody Co, but a lot of the shadiness around the comment section in regards to cleaning up this entire action, and to the point where Cody hasn't even addressed the situation. It is a situation that's blowing up real fast. And out of this was a few clips of Tana Mongeau, which actually raises a lot of eyebrows on people, okay? So listen to some of these clips. So about a couple months ago, this clip started floating around on the old short form media where Tana Mongeau was discussing the situation on stage, and this clip actually came out, and there's something she says that kind of raises some eyebrows a little bit, so to speak.
Who's the smallest dick you ever had?
Oh my God, did no one look at me, Cody Co.
Delete the videos. I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that. What? Sorry.
I was literally 17? I can say that? Now, if you're a 17-year-old and you've seen a 25-year-old at a time's penis, you are actually, a serious victim to a crime known as statutory rape, okay? Yeah, we're not censoring the word or anything. We're just going to say it like it is. What is this channel like your favorite? No. We're going to use the whole word. Yellow $ be damned, okay? This is a serious situation that involves a serious fucking discussion. So on one hand, all right, this is Tana Mongeau, right? Tana Mongeau, who's had her own sets of controversies, right, in the past. People have basically called her out for, being a liar, being a little disingenuous, not being a perfect victim, quote unquote. When it comes to a crime, I want to stress by saying there is no such thing as a perfect victim. Even if you are somebody that has objectively done pretty problematic or bad things in general, if a crime happens to you, then it is, at least from my understanding and my belief, that law should still fairly apply to you. And the crime that has happened to you still makes you a victim of a very serious crime. And it's something worth discussing. So obviously, Tana has also had her own problems in the past. Dude, she was 20 years old. She was running this event known as TanaCon, which turned out to be a massive, security issue. Turned out to be a massive problem. Thing got shut down within hours. And the reality of it is the internet kind of roasted her for it. I never made a video on this at the time too, because yeah, it was obviously a fuck up, but Tana was like 20 years old during this time. It was an entire convention that probably should have involved far more professional individuals handling it, but it's one of those things that is constantly used against her. I never really talked about Tana, since the days of iDubbbz pretty much roasting her on Content Cop. And honestly, watching some of the stuff that she was involved in back in the day is pretty hair-raising. One of these videos I saw where it's like, I peed on Shane Dawson. You wish this was clickbait. You can't even find this video on our channel, from my understanding. This I had to find through, and point of the matter is, the video is disturbing, okay? She's pretty much sitting on Shane Dawson. The whole thing is about pissing on the guy, okay? And she is like literally just turned 18. There's a creator known as Jake Doolittle who pretty much puts himself through the Guantanamo Bay of this situation and actually guides himself watching this. And you do genuinely feel bad for her. Like, she's 18 at the time, surrounded by some of these big influencers, and she's just getting involved in some really creepy shit, okay? God damn. But there are a few more clips that came out of her podcast where she kind of discussed this in a situation more seriously. And that's what we're here to look at.
There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him, like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up.
Oh, boy. See, that part of the clip kind of hurts a little bit. That, hearing it, basically she involved another large YouTuber, I think an ex-YouTuber at this point, Gabby Hanna, who I believe is like a, I believe Gabby Hanna is like a fitness coach at this point, so different story right there. I think she's doing pretty well. But yeah, she brings her into the story, and this is pretty hard to hear. If somebody tells you, yeah, that girl's 17, probably shouldn't go there, and you still proceed to hook up, that is very, very scary. That is very fucked up.
Grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just like excited and
So this is the fan thing. When people talk about like power dynamics or something, right? Like, obviously when you're a fan of a creator, right, you're probably a little more susceptible to whatever they say. Now, as a creator, if you come across a fan like this, especially under the age of 18, you should absolutely tell them, oh, you're a kid. You should stay far away from me, okay? I'm a grown-up. If you're willing to use the clout that you've built up to take advantage of somebody that is under the age of 18, allegedly, that's a serious, serious mistake. Again, it's a crime. It's not, you can't understate that. Now, Tana actually says something that pretty much hits me close to home now that I have younger people in my family that are reaching that like 16 years of age mark, right? Teenagers. And this is something that I can absolutely resonate with her on.
if I had a 17-year-old daughter or a little sister or something, like, I would kill. I would never let it fly.
Now, that's true, okay? If I had, all right, which I do, 16 years of age, 17, younger people in my family, get in bed with a YouTuber that is 25, by the way, that I would absolutely be fucking seeing red over, And this is where I want to just start off by bringing up the age gaps again, too. When you're 25 years of age, I have to ask, what do you find in common with a 17-year-old? You know what I mean? Or an 18-year-old even, right? Because here's the thing, when you're 25, dog, you are out of college, you are in your career starting out, and especially when you're a big influencer like Cody Co, you've already got a lot of money, fame, you've got things going for you at 25. How hard is it to not f minor? Okay, the easiest part about making YouTube videos is waking up, getting to my computer, and never in the middle do I have to ever fight the urge to get involved with minors in the first place. This is scary. When a minor tries getting involved with you, it is your responsibility as the creator to cut that off and be the adult. So here's the thing that's really wild about this, and this is where the story has more weight than a lot of other things that have come out on the internet. Now, I'm gonna play this clip out of D'Angelo Wallace's video because this clip has basically kind of been like erased from the internet. Not so much erased, I'm not implicating anybody in it, but it is not an easy clip to find. And trust me, as somebody that has been doing this for years, finding clips is my speciality. D'Angelo Wallace found this, and it is by far one eyewitness report that corroborates this whole story in a very grim manner.
One time, I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage. Watch it. And he's like, oh my God, thank you for telling me. And then he turned that.
This is
Woo! That is a wild story, and it almost sounds entirely shot for shot similar to what Tana Mongeau was saying. Crazy stuff. Here, listen to this.
once.
I was 17 at the time, 18. I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Co.
Now, in this story, you have what appears to be an eyewitness report, and enough for a story to be beyond just a simple allegation, right? Now, the thing about this whole situation is, obviously, if Cody Co is an innocent fella, right, as some would defend him as, or some would say, then it is pretty easy to come out and basically explain exactly what you're doing. I've seen plenty of creators who've been alleged of this stuff too, like Angry Joe, for instance, or even larger celebrities like, I believe, Justin Bieber at the time. And a lot of these people do come with the receipts to, protect themselves or, immunize themselves from allegations like this. And I think if you're somebody in the public sphere, it is something that you should absolutely be doing every day to pretty much keep yourself safe. Now, if it's something about allegations like this, I often find that usually the creators that I talk to or I'm friends with, and I try to be good friends with, people that I trust, people like Caleb, for instance, right? Oompaville. These are people that I pretty much know without a shadow of a doubt, I'll never have to worry about talking about them in this manner, right? But obviously, Cody Co and his friend group on the internet, a lot of them have been quiet up until this D'Angelo Wallace video had come out. So in this situation, you've got what appears to be an imperfect victim, like Tana Mongeau, who's had her own controversies in the past, right, for better or for worse. And on the other hand, you've got Cody Co, a golden child YouTube commentator that pretty much people like to unanimously be friendly for, people like to defend. And the thing that makes these like two clips from Gabby Hanna and Tana Mongeau is that these aren't like recent clips. Some of these have been as old as, from my understanding, 2021. So these allegations have been around for a long time. They've circulated, but because of Tana's imperfect victim status, you start to read comments like this that are very disturbing. Like, she wasn't no victim, she was 17 and obviously consented, which is absolutely worthy of having the feds check your drives because, as we've discussed with the ages and the laws, you cannot consent if you are under the age of 18. 17 is less than the 18 age, okay? First of all, it's Tana. Of course she would sleep with him. She's also 17, which is old enough to have a clear idea of what you are doing, so yeah, it's fine. And to that I respond, no, it's not. The other party is 25. They obviously know better. They should have stopped. So yeah, these are the kind of, this is just a few comments you can find. And obviously you'll find a whole lot more defense floating around, which is something that is disgusting to read. And honestly, had this been anybody that didn't have a controversial view on the internet would have been far more charitable to them. But, it's because Tana's Tana. She's not, getting that, same treatment, which is disgusting to see on the internet. It's something worth calling out for sure. And one thing that D'Angelo Wallace really hits hard, at least to me in this video with, is if people were talking about Dr. Disrespect rightfully for his interactions with a minor, which, of course, even before Dr. Disrespect came out and admitted to that, people like me made a video covering those situations, those developing stories. So obviously we should treat every situation like this incredibly seriously, right? Now I really do think you should go and watch D'Angelo Wallace's video. I also really think like it's a great video, it's a solid video, solid stuff. I think it's one of those things where Cody Co should absolutely respond to this kind of stuff and, proclaim innocence. The longer you kind of let these situations fester and, looking through this person's comment sections, they do look like they're being filtered to remove some of the most controversial stuff or this exact situation being discussed, which is never a good look in my opinion. These are situations where you absolutely should respond. And here's the thing, and this is why talking about the situation is important in a serious lens, right? Look, I've talked about tons of terrible YouTubers, okay? I've talked about tons of people that have broken the law, tons of people that have done the wrong thing. But if it's one thing on YouTube that I think consistently I've talked about throughout my channel is obviously situations like this, where YouTubers have been alleged to be involved with minors, okay? And in situations like this, it's always better our community self-polices itself and gets the answers before this eventually becomes a situation that is so large the entire world mocks us. But it's also not just even that. There are victims in this scenario. Tana Mongeau is a victim, all right? And even if she was 17 at the time, she is far younger than a 25-year-old who should have known better, okay? Allegedly at the time. And it's one of those things where, with all of this corroborating evidence basically brought together and the serious weight of these allegations, it's absolutely worth responding to. Tana is not some random account that was made a week ago. This is somebody with a clear internet footprint, somebody that also has a lot to lose if they're just blatantly defaming somebody, and somebody who has a story that has come out. And even if the community or some people in the community are absolutely dogging on her for not being perfect, that's not the route you want to take. If Cody was absolutely guilty of taking advantage of a 17-year-old while 25, that person has to face some level of consequences. It's a disgusting thing to witness, and it's one of those situations where I, at least personally, have zero tolerance for. And I think most people should have a zero tolerance for. I don't want to live in a world where these kind of things in life, this aspect of society, is muddled to the point where people are deliberately just breaking the law or muddying it to the point where, children who are under the age of 18, that hard cutoff, aren't actually safe anymore. So yeah, it's a really wild situation, but one that I wanted to discuss because, again, when you look at the YouTube landscape and you look at creators like MiniLad who have at least openly admitted, these are people that should ultimately be staying away, at least people that have admitted themselves. But somebody like Cody Co, there absolutely has to be some response. Look, at the end of the day, if you are innocent, you should have some corroborating evidence to proclaim your innocence. But, D'Angelo Wallace said it in his video the best. If you are just completely silent, then maybe there is a reason for that silence, right? Especially when a large creator like this, a large figure, who again, isn't doing this for clout. Tana doesn't need to do this for clout. She's doing just fine anyways. This is a serious situation with serious implications because Tana is at least large enough to have a platform to talk about this. And even if she is getting docked, imagine somebody else that has went through this, but they're not able to come out with a story like this because they're just going to get dogpiled or their entire allegation gets lost to the entire ether of the internet. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar. Wild stuff today. I'm out.